The battle is the Lord's, but you have to show up. There's been a lot of moments in my life, and the more I realize this, the more faith it gives me to just show up to things where I don't really think there's any way that I can accomplish this mission. There's a battle that I am not qualified for, that I'm being called to. And if I go to the battle, if I show up, God will qualify me and make things work out in a way that I did not foresee. I've seen that on a few occasions, and more so as I go through life. And it often comes in the form of He gives me the words that I didn't know I have, or I spoke, I said things that weren't me. It was Him talking through me, and or things that are just blind luck, or things working out in ways I couldn't imagine. And the more I experience that, the more I recognize it in the Bible when I read it. Like, there's a lot of moments where characters, they're told to go do this thing, and they're like, wait, so if I go over there on that hill, we're not going to die, right? Like, we're succeed. And He's like, I don't know. God's just like, I don't know. Like, go do the thing. Well, maybe you'll die. Maybe you'll be fine. Go figure it out. And God knows the answer to that. And is that somebody squeaking their tires? What the? Anyway, you don't know the answer, but God does, and He's asking you to do the thing. So do the thing. Go do the thing. That should be the. That's not the title of the video. The title of the video is maybe that could be in the thumbnail. I don't know. I like keeping the thumbnails bare right now. But go do the thing. If God tells you to go do the thing, go do the thing. Now, you might die. You might lose everything. Whatever. But, like, there's a lot of moments where in life you don't get rewarded unless you go do the thing. You go to battle. You show up. And let's unpack that. There's a lot of avenues of life where that applies. It applies in career. It applies in relationships. It applies in romance. It applies in family. It applies in church. It applies in faith. It applies in just every aspect of life. There are moments where you have to show up, and God will give you the tools and fight the battle that you don't see, and you might never see it, but you'll witness it working out. And it might be it might work out in ways where, like, you're like, how did that happen? Like, how did it unfold that way? Or why did it unfold that way? Why does this feel positive? I don't even know why it feels like it worked out the way that I wanted it to. Because He knows something. He knows something about it that you don't. Like, there's moments where I have conversations with people, and loved ones or something, that's tough conversations, and you get your hands dirty, and I walk away from it. I went in praying, and I knew God was guiding me towards it. I had a number of reasons to know that God was guiding me towards it, and it worked out the way that I didn't know I needed it to, and it revealed a new path forward that I didn't see before, but now I know I have more work ahead of me. That's how it often feels. God will reveal, maybe not the outcome you wanted or when you wanted it, but He will reveal a new path forward that you then have to, that gives you new calling that you then have to call or answer to and show up for. And He will continue to work things out and fight the battle for you. But you have to keep showing up. You have to keep showing up to the plate, swinging. You might not hit the ball, but if you swing, you swung. Good. If you swing, you swung. But, that's the thing, is like, if in terms of filmmaking, there might be a meeting with somebody, or a call with somebody, or working with somebody, or there might be a shoot, or there's so many different things. Writing is an opportunity to show up. Sitting down to write. Every step of creating something in film, every step of the process, there's an aspect of showing up and letting the Lord work through you. And you just don't see it. Like, and you can look at it years later and think, and start to see it and be like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Like, there's a reason why great writers like Stephen King they will put their writing in a drawer for 6 months, like 6 weeks after writing it, not look at it at all, so that they can look at it later and really see, the work there. And I like to say it's God's work. Like, it's, you're seeing things that unfold that you wouldn't see otherwise. And now you could say, well, that's the unconscious, or that's this or that. Why is it that when you go to church, or you're among Christians, why is it that they really seem to know how to say exactly what you need to hear? My relationship with God is often through other Christians, other people who have an instinct for God, or for something beyond them, and something else speaks through them. Sometimes that it's not the right voice, and you got to know. But there's two different voices, and often, like, you hear God speaking through people, and they don't know it, and you don't know it. But you kind of look back and you realize, oh, that was the advice I needed to hear. That's why in church, you're there at a sermon. If it's a good sermon, there's something in that sermon that's speaking to exactly what you're going through. If it's a Bible-based sermon, or a Jesus-based sermon, like there is something that is talking to what you're going through at that moment, and it's exactly what you need to hear. And sometimes you have conversations with somebody that's exactly what you need to hear, and they don't know that they're saying it. They don't know where it came from. You don't know where it came from when you do that to others. And that's not an accident. I refuse to believe it's an accident anymore. I used to think it was an accident. I don't think it's an accident anymore. I've seen how those conversations have changed my life many times this year. I've had so many moments this year where you have those conversations with someone, and it leads to a very big decision that changes your life. And like, it might make you end up somewhere that you wouldn't have been before, or read a book that you weren't going to read before, or start thinking about doing something and doing it that way that you wouldn't think before. But they tell you exactly what you're trying to look for. It's almost like it's like they give you the key that unlocks a door that you didn't know you needed to unlock. Or a key that you didn't know exists, but you needed to unlock the door that you knew about and were trying to unlock, or didn't even dream that you could ever unlock, There's beauty in that, man, and that happens a lot through conversations with Christians, I find, especially if you're going to church, and which is just a testament to them being God's hands and feet in the world. And I'm in constant awe of that. And you know what? My hope with this channel is that I'm not even aware of it, that I'm doing this for other people. That something I'm saying, I don't know, I half the time don't even know what I'm going to say in these videos. I have a topic, and the goal is each video I make is just a rung on the ladder, a breadcrumb, so people can follow me to wherever I go on my journey as the best writer, director, Christian man I can be. And as I go on that journey, I leave the breadcrumbs and the rungs of the ladder, and if I get there, great. If I don't, who cares? I wasted a bunch of time making these videos. I don't think I wasted it. They actually helped me to some degree wrap my thoughts up and put a bow on it, and process it so that I can then bring it up later to other people. And actually, these videos sometimes help me to kind of realize, okay, wait a minute, that's a different way of looking at it. I didn't think about it that way before. And then I could talk about it with someone, and it's kind of like a stand-up comedy, or a stand-up comic, testing their material. And I get to test my thoughts and overthink my thoughts, and that's beautiful. I like that. There's a sense when people talk and speak and use words that something comes out of them that they didn't understand before. They don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from God. And especially the more that they let go and take a leap of faith and have no idea where it's going, that's when the beauty comes out. That's when God's kingdom, reveals itself. And it ends up healing you. It ends up bringing you amazing things in life. Peace, love, happiness, or challenges, responsibility. It brings a lot of things out. And if you don't show up to the battle or show up to have the conversation, those things don't ever come about. If you don't show up to the page, the blank page of writing, those words don't form. You know, you got to just brain vomit sometimes. And when you brain vomit, that's when you really let go and beautiful things come out onto the page. When you show up to shoot a film, you can plan all you want. Things aren't going to go according to plan most of the time. Things get backed up. Challenges come up and present themselves. Things go wrong that actually make things go better. When you act in the scene, the performance comes out not the way that you envisioned or planned, because if it did, it would be stale and static, but it comes out different, and it comes out in a way that is surprising, unique, and oddly fits really well, that you can see and hear the character in. And you have to show up to the plate to do it. You just got to show up and do it, and it's sometimes there's only so much preparation you could do to get there. But it's really about letting go at some point. You have to do a lot of prep and then let go. And then same with directing photography. You know, it's at some point, like when I'm on set, actors or filmmakers will ask me like, oh, how, you know, what if we do this, blah, 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 blah. You know, at some point I just say, hey, you know, like, give me all the information you want, all the preparation, and I'll try to factor it all in. But, you know, when we get on set, you know, until we get on set, I don't know how it's going to look. I mean, that scares them to hear that, but I mean that in a sense of like, part of the process is like, show me with your eyeballs and your hands where the lens is in this environment, and then we'll find out the look. That way, we'll start to. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can figure out ahead of time, like focal lengths, like lighting styles. Do you want, you know, does the lighting, you know, is there something about certain lighting styles you want for this film? Is there reasons for it? You know, you can overthink a million things about it, and that's really what it comes down to, is overthinking it. But when you bring the tools that you have at your disposal into the environment that you have to work with, that's where everything comes to the meeting place. You know, it's not about your vision all the time. It's about how your vision meets reality. That's where art is formed. That's where ideas are formed. That's how beauty is created in art and filmmaking. When your vision marries with reality. It's the meeting place. And I gotta write that down. Art is the meeting place of your vision and reality. But that is common throughout the process. And a lot of amateurs think that their vision needs to be how it is, and a lot of, you know, a lot of it is just showing up and doing it and making do with what you have, and realizing that's actually what is really exciting, is you don't know how it's going to end up. The more you're open to that uncertainty, that chaos, that's where your art really takes off, and it's really fun. And same is true of every battle you face. When you can embrace the uncertainty of a battle and know that Christ is with you, and you're living in relationship with Christ, praying to Him as you go through it, for His guidance and help, and asking Him what He wants of you and how He wants you to deal with it. If you have that relationship with Him through those things, you have a better power to embrace that uncertainty, and it's truly beautiful, and all you can do really is show up, prepare, show up for preparation, and show up for execution. And you might not know how it's going to unfold, but you're just afraid of uncertainty. So embrace the uncertainty, show up for the battle, so that the Lord can fight it for you. Hope this video is helpful. I appreciate you watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, boost the channel, help us out in any way. I want to serve others with this channel, and if you have any requests or videos or just things you need help with in private, you can email me at askthomasprophet@gmail.com, prophet spelled with 2 F's and 2 T's, and I'll try to get back to you, or make a video request. Let me know if it's private or not. the request. But if you want, you can also comment, like, comment, subscribe. And I might not be qualified to answer your question or help you, but if God calls me to answer that question through you asking it, you bet he's going to qualify me. And I'll be able to find a way to serve you in a way that is unique to me. And I appreciate you watching, and seek the kingdom of God, which is, I think that's what seeking the kingdom of God is, serving his people. But I appreciate you watching. Prayers, you have a great rest of your day. Love you. Later.